Hello, everyone. Tyler Davenport here, the lone wolf, senior co-host Chad Nicholson. The show is Strike Force News, coming out of Alternative Public Radio International. If you want to check our website out, it's all lowercase alternativepublicradiointernational.com. We're streaming live from Restream on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and soon to be many more. So you guys tune in, be sure and share the show, hit the like button if there are any, and use our embed code to stream live from some of your platforms and pages and groups, and encourage your friends to do the same. Really appreciate all of our fans and supporters out there, and just sit back and enjoy the show. Thank you all very much, and we'll turn it over to the live show now. Well, there's that pretty face. How you doing, Chad?
Good, brother. Good, brother. How's your day been?
Very, very interesting.
That's always a good thing.
Of course, I've been on the phone with, my situation that I don't want to talk about tonight with my aunt and uncle. I'll tell you more about that tomorrow when we're kind of calm and cool and we got some time to talk. 6:04 p.m., ladies and gentlemen, here in the Northwest Pacific, male chauvinist pig country. I'll explain that just a little later. Something that happened to my sweetheart, and someone's going to lose some teeth. 6/14/2023, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll tell you what, I've never considered myself a male chauvinist pig, and neither have many women, to tell you the truth. But I have met some male chauvinist fucking pigs, and two of them have hurt my Mary. And I want to tell you something. They don't want to see me coming, but they are. Because I am reactivated and I serve felony warrants. And I'm making it public right here. Somebody's going to pay. And they don't want to see me coming, but they are. And they're listening tonight. And I'm coming for you, boys. I'm coming for you. You better be ready. So yeah, you don't fuck with my Mary. I tell you, I never get like this. I never get like this. Chad knows I'm not that kind of guy. I never go around bragging about stuff like that. I never go around boasting about stuff like that. Chad will tell you he's not. Chad's not gonna lie for me. He'll tell you I've never been that kind of guy. He's never seen me like this before. He knows I'm serious.
Yeah, he's usually pretty docile. People, it's it's kind of rare to see him in that kind of mood.
Well, Chad, there's a time and a season for everything, and sometimes you just can't let things go. You know,
Yeah, I get it. I fully get it. I would be in the same situation you are, because I do operate under that simple rule. You don't mess with my woman, and you don't mess with my family. other than that, you can do whatever you want to me, and you're not going to get the authentic rage out of me. But the minute that you mess with those two things, you're going to see my authentic rage that not too many people has witnessed, and it's not good for them.
Yeah, yeah. And while we're on the subject of felony warrants, I wanted to bring up the fact that, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if Chad and I have ever educated you all.
Yeah, they have to be. They have the key.
I don't know if Chad and I have ever educated you all on you people can go out and arrest offenders. I don't know if we've ever talked about that, and I don't know if anyone's really ever really talked about that. But if you will read your Constitution and your amendments, and you will study them very carefully, you will learn that you can go and make arrest. Now, I will tell you right now, there are some drawbacks because you better make damn sure that the person you arrest is committing a crime. But you can make arrest, and I will tell you, if you will go study some case law and you will look around the United States, you will see that many, 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 many cities and many, many people in many, many states are making arrests all the time. This is something else Chad and I haven't talked about. And this is something that's not talked about very often. And most of you know that you can make a felony arrest all the time. Uh, most of you probably didn't know that. And you can use deadly force in most cases in most states to stop a felony in progress. But most of you didn't know that you can make other arrests, including misdemeanor arrests, as long as you turn the person over to a magistrate or an official within 1 hour. You guys and girls need to go out there and read your Constitution and read these different statutes and laws and rules and regulations and policies and procedures and rule of law and common law and color of law and learn the law and look at the Black's Law Dictionary. And because the reason I'm saying this is because we're getting to a point where you all are going to have to learn to protect your communities. You all are going to have the means to protect your communities, and you're going to have to learn that you have the power of arrest. You have the power to protect your family, you have the power to protect your property, and you have the power to protect your neighbors and your relatives and your friends. And you need to be able to know that you can exercise that power, especially with what's coming. And let me tell you something, folks. The shit's getting ready to hit the fan. I know Chad and I say it every night, but I'm going to say it again. And Chad knows what I'm talking about. You guys are going to wake up one day and you're going to go, what the fuck? Why didn't I listen?
All I know is if they would take 10 minutes a day and go to Black's Law Dictionary and read the actual laws and the court cases, do that for 2 weeks. I guarantee you it will change your complete outlook on what's going on in front of your face. Why me and Kyler always sit there and say, this shit is about to hit the fan, because every day they're taking a new law and creating a new law against us.
You know, Chad's right. They've stacked up these laws now that equate to a 27-story building, laying flat 8.5 by 11 paper. Ladies and gentlemen, 6,000 new laws are created every year. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something. Most of them, and if not all of them, are created for the rich and famous and the wealthy and the elite, not for you. It's kind of an oxymoron, kind of crazy. It's not to protect you. These laws are not to protect you. They're to protect the wealthy. We have very few laws under rule of law and color of law to protect common individuals. We do have many laws under common law to protect individuals, but very few people are using the common law, and very few people these days are forming their own grand juries, which you all have the right to do under the Constitution of the United States Incorporated and of America, and under social compact. You have the right to form your own grand juries and elect your own judges and seat your own judges and have your own courts, as in Sharia law. If you will look at the Moors and go back and look at the Moors before the Egyptians, there was black people, black folks. I don't know, a lot of you white folks don't like to hear that, but there were black folks before the white folks, before the brown folks. And if you'll go back and look at the Moors and what they did, you'll understand more about law than you could ever learn by looking at any dictionary. But you need to go back and study your history, and you need to look at what's happened, with these different cultures and how these different kingdoms came into place and feudalism and the lords and princes of the day. And you need to understand how these laws came into effect and how they were written and why they were written and who they were written for. And it'll be kind of an exciting journey for all of you. And I think it's time that all of us come together as a community or as a militia. We have the right to form a militia and abolish this current government. Now, let me tell you why I'm really wanting to abolish this current government. Ladies and gentlemen, I have learned some things over the last few days um, that literally have just turned me upside down. And I've said this before on this show, and I'm going to say it again. We're living, and many of you are going to send me some nasty emails. And we're living in the most corrupt, nasty country in the world. And I know that you patriots out there don't like to hear that, but I have the proof in hand. And I have so much proof in hand that it would cover a 27-story building. And it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable the murder that this country has committed and the chaos this country has committed and the people have, and the people in the millions that have been tortured and the countries that have been wiped out and the cultures that have been wiped out and the peoples that have been wiped out and the colors and creeds and traditions that have been wiped out, all in the name of Western democracy. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is a dirty damn shame that you all are so brainwashed that you don't understand what's going on in this country of ours, okay? It amazes me, ladies and gentlemen, that you all don't understand what's going on in this country. And to tell you the truth, I don't hardly understand what's going on in this country anymore myself. It is getting so damned crazy. It is just getting so damn crazy. Okay, but it's time for all of you to come together in your own little militias. It's time for you to come together in your own little communities, your own little tribes, in your own little families, and it's time to lock and load, and it's time to get ready to rock and roll, lock and load, rock and roll. I want to tell you right now, things are fixing to get really, really, really nasty, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to be coming after all of us in one way, shape, form, or fashion. Okay? They're going to be coming after all of us in one way, shape, form, or fashion. If they can't get you through the front door, they're going to get you through the back door. And if they can't get you through the back door, they're going to get you through the window on the north side or the south side or the east side or the west side. And if they can't get you through the windows, they're going to come through the roof or they're going to come up through the floor. But they're going to get you. And yes, I am trying to scare you. I hope I do scare you. I hope all of you are scared to death because they're coming. They're coming. And I'm going to tell you right now, I do not think that we have 2 years left without the floor dropping out from under each and every one of us, ladies and gentlemen. I have a lot of geopolitical experience. I have many years of experience as a geopolitical analyst, and I have been out in the field, and I have been in the depths of the field, and I've been down these rabbit holes. And I can tell you, we have about 2 years left, I would say, until the floor drops completely out from all of under us, of under all of us. And at that point in time, it's going to make today look like a walk in the park or a ride over to Disneyland. And you all are going to need to be prepared. I'm here to tell you tonight, you're all going to need to be prepared. You need to get locked and loaded, and you need to get ready to rock and roll and lock and load. And because it ain't getting no better. I mean, when they came out, I've got some documents here that I'm not allowed to share. But the United Nations has just come out, along with the World Health Organization, and said that all children should be raped by 9 years old. They should have sexual intercourse, and they should be having sexual intercourse with their teachers at school, and with their aunts and uncles, and with their next door neighbors, and the old man across the street, and all this kind of crazy stuff. And like I've told Chad, this doesn't shock me. Nothing shocks me, but it's to me, it's just bizarre. It's. I'm not a moralist, but I'm a scientist, and I'm an observer, and I'm a watcher. And this is like Chad always says, you can't make this shit up. I mean, if him and I came on here trying to make some shit like this up, I would expect you all to call somebody.
Yeah, please call somebody for mental health if we could make this up, because there's no way. Minds can't even fathom what's going on. They even try to make this up.
And between Chad and I both working together, we will put this information out verbatim over the next 2 weeks. I'm going to give us 2 weeks because Chad's busy and I'm busy. I'm going to give us 2 weeks. We're going to put the numbers out there for you, and you're going to be able to look at it. You're going to be able to see the proof. You're going to be able to see it in black and white. And you're going to fall out of your chair. You're going to say, oh, well, Chad and Kyle are just talking about stuff that might happen. No, we're going to show you. We're going to show you. You can read it for yourself. Okay. And it's going to knock you out of your chair because look, nothing shocks me, ladies and gentlemen. Most of y'all know where I've been. I'm not going to talk about it tonight. Most of y'all know where I've been. You know what I've done. And this is shocking the living shit out of me. This is literally shocking the living shit out of me. I mean, it's so bizarre that I can't even fathom that it's happening. It's just too fucking crazy. I mean, it's so fucking crazy that it doesn't even make any sense. Chad?
Yeah, like we used to say all the time, there's a method to the madness, and we relied on that. But there is no method anymore, like none. This is where it's become dangerous when they've literally made it to where you can't see anything that they're doing in advance anymore. That's when you know it's a bad way in society. And the fact that most people don't even know what's really going on is even scarier, in my opinion. I mean, that shocks me.
I've got a I've got a video here I'm going to send to Chad, and he's going to get a kick out of it. I can't send it right now because my producer is not here. But I'm going to send it to Chad, and Chad's going to get a kick out of this. It's a pastor, a very fervent pastor at a board meeting at school, and he goes in there, and they think, "Oh, Pastor so and so's here. Oh, we're holy, 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 ha ha ha!" And Pastor so and so approaches the microphone, and he says, "I want to read something to you all tonight." And they're like, "Oh, well, he must be going to read some Bible scripture or something here. I don't know what he's going to say, a prayer or something." Well, he begins to read from one of the school books at the school when I think these were fourth graders or fifth graders. And he begins to talk about stroking the erect penis and the blood gorging through the parallel sides of the penis and the head of the penis getting hard, and then the ejaculative fluid forming in the scrotum and beginning to feel good and beginning to feel sensuous, and then this ejaculative white fluid coming out through the top of the penis, and they say, "Stop, sir! You must stop! Stop him, sir! You have to be quiet." He says, "Listen to me. You allowed this in the school classroom. You are all adults. Why won't you let me read it here?" These people were sinking down in their seats. He said, "You are politicians. That's why. You have been bought and sold. That's why." And this goes on to just, I mean, this just the most lewd, crude, insane shit that you can imagine. And they're trying to stop him, boy. Every way they can, they're trying to stop him. You're gonna get a kick out of this one, Chad. And I think more parents should go in and start reading these books to the school board, you know, because they just want to let it just slide under the carpet. Like Chad said, they just want it to slide on in and just nobody says anything. And here we go, little Susie and little Johnny learning to jack each other off, and that's okay. It's no big deal, you know. Minor attracted persons. But it's just, to me, it's just insane. It's I hate to say it's comical, but in a way, kind of a twisted kind of way, it is comical. In another kind of way, it's just crazy. It's comically crazy, we could say. And again, I can't fathom this in my wildest perverted imagination that I have. And I have a pretty perverted imagination, and I can't fathom this kind of shit going on. Damn it.
Like we joke around and say all the time, we in a twilight zone. Yeah, we are. That's all we can say. Like we're stuck in a true twilight zone.
And the who, and here we are with Africa. The West is. I find out today through some CIA friends. I grew up, as you know, in a CIA family, and I was working my way around in these organizations, and I learned today that two uh, great leaders in Africa had been poisoned by the Central Intelligence Agency with snake poison, and one had been taken out in a very crude way. And because the West wants to control Africa, and they have controlled Africa, Britain controlled Africa. And of course, colonialism has been going on for a long time, and apartheid and all these kinds of things. Well, guess what? Africa is fed up. And Africa has said, fuck you, West. We're going with China and Russia. Let me tell you something. The United States is chopping their foot off every day. All of these countries are leaving us. Every single country is leaving. We don't have an ally left. I don't even think NATO likes us, to tell you the truth. I think NATO is so divided and so split, they don't even like each other. I don't even know why they call themselves NATO. North American Treaty. What North American Treaty? I don't. What the fuck are they talking about anyway? I mean, they can't even get together and have a meeting. How are they going to gang up and I want to say this, and we'll get letters. We'll get letters, we'll get emails. Chad and I'll be chastised. Oh, you're pro Russia. You're pro Russia. Yes, I'm pro Russia. I'm pro Russia. Okay? Because the United States is full of a bunch of goddamn idiots. Bumbling fucking idiots. Where this country is being run by the Three Stooges and the Keystone Cops. Okay? And they're making all the wrong decisions, folks. They're making all the wrong decisions. None of these decisions have to do with your well being and your welfare or your children's welfare. We are destroying this country brick by brick, piece by piece, rock by rock, person by person, child by child, second by second. We are destroying ourselves literally. and every country is leaving us. We were once the greatest nation on earth. We were once a superpower. We are now nothing. We're the laughing stock of the fucking world.
I mean, listen, people, let's be real about it. With what's going on, and if Joe Biden actually did run the country, Joe Biden would do a better job of putting our interests, at first compared to his own. I mean, this is how bad it is. And it's sad to say that Joe Biden, if he had the true power, could probably do better than what's going on right now, because we all know the man can't even walk. The man can't even put together a sentence, but he could still do better than what they're doing. They're purposely doing this. They've used the United States to give us a bad reputation because they knew at the end of the day they would need a country to destroy us because we was a great nation. The same thing happened to Germany. Granted, Germany did some nasty shit, but we did the same thing that Germany did. Everybody bitches about the concentration camps. America had concentration camps at the same time.
We
I mean,
we have killed more people and destroyed more people and tortured more people and imprisoned more people, and we have destroyed more countries, and we have destroyed more cultures and more traditions and more creeds and more religions and more colors and more philosophies than any other country in the world. We are nothing but destroyers. That's all we are. We're destroyers. We go in and destroy every country. We send the CIA in. We send the economic hitmen in. And if that doesn't work, we send the assassins in. And if that doesn't work, we send our special forces in. And we wipe it out and we take what we fucking want and we get out and we leave everything ravaged. I guess you all know Guam is gone. Yo, you didn't know? Yeah, Guam is gone. 65% of Guam is just fucking ravaged. I just talked to a family that just escaped the cyclone, the storm. It's literally ravaged. The media has blacked 3/4 of the real out. They don't even want people to know. The lady who just left Guam. She was lucky to get out. Guam is gone. It is completely devastated. Okay, and the American media doesn't give a shit about anything except North Grantham and all of these other weapons manufacturers are bragging about they're going to make a 25% profit sending another $1 trillion worth of goddamn weapons to Ukraine. That's all they care about is fighting this proxy war in Ukraine. This proxy war in Ukraine against Russia. And I am honestly surprised that Russia has not just blown us off the damn map, and I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't happen in the morning.
well, let's talk about what recently happened. That Putin's main right hand man was actually a spy from the United States that he was secretly meeting and setting up the assassination attempts on Putin. Like, listen, people, there's stuff they're not talking about that's very key.
Well,
Think
they've
about
made
this.
they need a boogeyman.
Well, think about this, people. If you was the leader of the country, right, and your right hand man that you hired to run your military to protect your country, you trusted this man with everything. This man was a spy for another country to be, and this country wanted to destroy you and did multiple assassination attempts on you. What would you do if you was a world leader? I mean, I'll let people speculate, but what would you do? Think about it.
Putin's number one man that he trusts the most is the man who feeds him, his caterer. It's his only true friend, his caterer. But don't be surprised by that word cater. He does much more than catering, and I can't talk about it here. But I will tell you that there's a lot of security around Putin right now, a lot of special security forces, and he's remaining at a distance, I've noticed, of 30 to 50 feet away from every single person because he knows that a handgun could come out at any time and be smuggled in and kill him. He's expecting to be assassinated. The West wants him gone, and I am very surprised they haven't sent special ultra ops, black ops group in to take him out. Now we could do that. I could do that with 6 guys. It wouldn't take but 6 very well trained specialists to go in there and take him out. I'm very surprised, very, very surprised they haven't done it yet. He's the only thing standing in the way of the West completing their mission. Okay. But there's a lot of other things involved, and the petrodollar is one of them. We're losing the petrodollar. And not just because of CBDC, but because these other countries know that it's so deflated that it's worthless. It's not just because of CBDC that we're losing the petrodollar. A lot of people think, oh, well, they're replacing the dollar. What dollar? We don't have a dollar to replace. It's worth absolutely zero. So these other countries they're tired of the West because they've all talked and said, look, all the West wants to do is come in and pillage and rape and take over and empower themselves and tell everybody what the hell to do, when the hell to do it, how to walk, how to talk, how to think, how to worship. The West wants to come in and just take everything over. That's what they want to do. The West, that's what the West is all about, and that's what the West has always been about. Look what we did to the natives. Look what we did to the Irish. Look what we've done to the Scots. Look what we've done to Germany. Look what we've done to Italy. Look what we've done to France. Look what we've done with every name. Just name it. Cuba. Look what we've done with Cuba. We put big firecrackers in Castro's cigar. And he got smart and said, "I'm not smoking this thing. Got dynamite in it." I mean, we tried to kill. The CIA tried to knock Castro off with an exploding cigar. How brilliant is that?
54 attempts assassination on Castro is what the United States did.
Yeah.
54 known attempts assassination on him.
The thing they just forgot was he was with the CIA. See, he knew all the tricks that were coming. He knew all the tricks that were coming. So he outsmarted every single one of them, and then he became a guerrilla, and then he formed his own army, and then he went against, of course, he went against the United States, and he had a lot on the United States that they didn't want to come out in the press. In the Bay of Pigs, we had the Bay of Pigs, and we had all these other things going on. And then we had this big possible war with Cuba, if you remember the Cuban crisis. Well, all that was bullshit, and all that was psyop, and all that was propaganda, a lot of it. But Castro was smart. Castro just said no. You know the old saying, just say no to drugs? Well, he said just no to the West. They said, "Oh, you're going to jump like a frog. You're going to do this, you're going to do that." And he said, "Oh, no, I'm not." And they said, "Oh, yes, you are." And he said, "Oh, no, I'm not." And guess what? He didn't. And he had so much on them. You talk about Epstein pulling people's pants down and taking pictures of them with little kids. Where did every American politician and diplomat go? Where did they go to party forever and ever? Cuba, Cuba, Cuba. That was Epstein Island for years and years and years, okay? Years and years. I hope Chad's okay. Looks like he might have trouble. But I know he can take care of it because he can make an arrest,
Just a zombie.
okay? But you see, all the politicians, Cuba was Epstein Island. See, and Chad knows all about this partying. We partied in Cuba forever. I partied in Cuba. Everybody went to Cuba. That's where, I mean, we're talking the most lavish parties in the world. You think Moscow's got something going on? Cuba has got, let me tell you something. Cuba was the place to go for every politician, okay? And he had all of them with their pants pulled down. He had so many pictures. He had so much proof of so many things going on, lewd and crude, stuff that you couldn't even imagine on every politician. You think Hillary Clinton's got a black book? You think Epstein's got a black book? You think the Lolita Express was some big deal? Cuba's book was this thick. So this is why they didn't end up taking him out. because he had mailed these documents to the press to be released in the event of his demise. Okay.
Yeah, Castro was smart, man. This man was a genius. It was like Einstein of the real world. You know what I mean? Like,
and
and he
and
had a set of balls that were bigger than the sun.
and there again, like Putin, they tried to make Castro the boogeyman. They needed a boogeyman. They needed a boogeyman. So they told all the Americans, lied to the Americans, and said Castro's molesting kids, Castro's killing people, Castro's torturing people, Castro's got people. None of that was true. None of that was true. Castro was building hospitals. Castro was building orphanages. Castro was building roads. Castro was digging wells. Castro was putting in fresh water systems. Castro was doing all of these wonderful things, and the United States was painting him as a devil. So you can't believe a damn thing you hear coming out of a politician's or a lawyer's or a prosecutor's fucking mouth in the United States, or a judge or a Supreme Court judge. Period. You can't believe one thing you hear, okay? Not one. And especially today with the all this fancy technology that we've got to put us all in these different places where we're really not. You can't believe anything, not even sound bites, nothing you hear. And look, this saddens me. This saddens me because I don't know what the hell I'm even looking at anymore. When I look at the TV or when I look at the computer, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. I have no idea. And when people are talking, I don't know what the fuck they're saying. I don't know who's saying what. I don't know where this information is coming from. Nobody knows anymore. There's so much misinformation and disinformation and propaganda going on right now that it's just like balls in one of those things at bingo. It's just going around and around and around. The balls are all floating around in there. It's just crazy. It's insane. And people say, "Where do you get your information from?" Well, I don't anymore. I don't have any information for you. The only information I have for you is that there's no information.
Ain't that the truth? Or wait, Joe Biden would tell you.
We choose truth over facts.
And now we have the Marines, Special Forces, testifying before Congress under oath about the Antarctica base that has been controlling the weather and the tectonic plate movement, volcanic action, tornadoes, cyclones, hurricanes, controlling all of the UAWs and all of the UFOs and all of the alien technology and all of the communications and all of the mind control. Now we have them testifying before Congress, which I guess you know is treason. If they lie, they die. And they're not going to lie. They got children, they got grandchildren. And of course, they've all been taken in and been told, we're going to kill you, your wife, and your children. And they've admitted to this. Now, this new whistleblower law that allowed them to come forth, I'm not too hip on. I don't trust it. I mean, in my opinion, some of these folks are going to be taken out because I just know I've been there. I've been there, and I know how devious these people are. I know how dangerous these people are, and I know how mistrusting. You cannot trust these people. Okay, and even though we have a whistleblower law that's supposed to protect these people, I still think they're going to get killed because the information that they're bringing forth is so damaging and so absurd and so dynamic and explosive and unbelievable and inconceivable and incomprehensible. The government has been lying, the deep state has been lying. We know now that we have not had a government that has been informed. We have not had an informed electorate since 1776 and before. We have not had an informed electorate because we have not had an informed Congress or House, the Senate or House. The deep state is running and has been running everything all of these years. And the deep state, of course, is invisible, completely invisible. And they go so far above top secret that top secret doesn't even exist as a word. You know, as I have talked about many times on this show, you have this lower level of activity going on. This is where we are here. You have this lower level delusion and activity going on here. And then you have this mid level uh, of activity going on here. And then you have a little bit higher level in that third level of activity going on there. Well, that's big government. Okay. That's big government making all of us suffer, you know. And then you have what's really going on up here, the deep state. Okay. They're the ones pushing all the buttons and pulling all the levers, and they're the ones pulling all the strings, and they're all the ones making all of the decisions. There's where all of this money is going that is missing. Okay. Trillions of dollars just gone, missing. Okay. Laundered through this company, laundered through that company, given in grants and then transferred to LLCs and the hundreds of billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, all going to these black ops projects in the deep state. Well, now what do you think's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen now that we know beyond the shadow of a doubt that the deep state has been colluding with and working with extraterrestrials? Um, what do you think is going to happen now? You all right?
Yeah, I just got attacked by a dog.
Oh, really? Did you have to run somebody off?
No, I was trying to help a customer out with their service, like put their stuff in the car, and I got a service dog, and service dog highly overprotective.
Oh,
Had my hands on the basket like this, went to put it in, dog lit me up.
that's yeah, I understand.
It's not the dog's fault. I don't blame the people either. I'm
No,
not going to be.
no, no.
No, that dog's doing his job.
Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, now that we've had disclosure, now that we have disclosure for the first time, how do you think this is going to affect the American people? This is going to be a major, major shock to the American people that we have disclosure now that the deep state has been colluding with extraterrestrials and interdimensionals, and all of this cloning has been going on, and we have all these clones running around the world. We have all these cyborgs running around the world. We have all these animals that are part cyborg running around the world. We have all this crazy shit going on. What do you think that's going to do to society as a whole? And how do you think that's going to shift the culture as a whole? It's going to really turn everything upside down, as they've been saying. Um, I mean, here we are talking about something that only 10 years ago was science fiction, and now it's all real. Now it's all real, and it's going to take some time, I believe, for this to soak in with everyone. I really do. I think some people are going to have virtually an impossible time conceiving that this is real, that the deep state has been colluding with extraterrestrials all this time, and that UFOs, and we've re-engineered and reverse engineered all of these things, and anti-gravity is now a thing, and running beyond the speed of light is a thing, and now we're mining all of this helium-3 off the dark side of the moon, and that's probably been going on for years and years and years, and all of these other things are coming to fruition now. And the information that we get is just a fragment of what's really going on. So if you can imagine that, and just take that little thing I'm doing here and run that up exponentially, 10,000 to the 50th power, let that knock you out of your chair and through the back double sliding glass door. And so I really couldn't say any more than that. I really couldn't, except I would like to make a public announcement tonight. Should have made it earlier. If you all read the definition of this show tonight, you may already know what I'm about to say. I was baptized a Baptist, and I grew up in Sunday school and church and Bible school and vacation Bible school, and grew up with some of the greatest people and had some of the greatest times of my life as a child in church. And I really enjoyed my family. I really enjoyed going to church. I really enjoyed my church family. I really enjoyed my church friends. I really enjoyed being around all of my friends in camp, and going off during the summer to church camp. I really enjoyed all of those things. And I had an experience last night. I had a dream last night, and I woke up paralyzed. I was just completely paralyzed. I couldn't move. And Chad knows what this is. We're not going to talk about it tonight, but Chad knows there's a special thing that happens sometimes during these sleep situations where you'll just get completely paralyzed and you can't move. I was paralyzed, and during the time I was paralyzed, I started crying, and I was just overwhelmed with all of the things that I've talked about over the last 20 years on air. It just all came into me, just like a storm, like the one in Guam, and it just hit me all at one time, like a big hammer. And at that moment in time, I surrendered my life back to Jesus Christ as my Savior and Lord. And I said, you know what? I said, Jesus, there's a lot of crazy things going on around here. And I said, as the scientist that I am and the hardcore, uh, observer and analyst that I am, and doubting Thomas, and the guy that don't like to make commitments to anything, anywhere, any way, I said, I just can't take this anymore. And I need to rely on you. And I said, if you are who you say you are, then I'm coming in. And if you're who you say you are and you're lying about who you say you are, or somebody else lied to me about who you are, I'm still coming in. Now, there's an old atheist argument out there that says, well, let's just see here. Which would be better? Not to believe and possibly go to hell, or go ahead and flip the coin in the other direction and go ahead and believe and go to heaven? Well, the old atheist said, I think it would probably be better to just go ahead and believe. It's not that hard to do. And if there is a heaven, you might just get there. Well, I got to thinking about those two atheists talking. And, with me, it's not a joke. I am tired of the world. I am sick and tired of this world of confusion, hate, and violence, and degradation, and depression, and stress, and confusion, and misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, and killing, and torturing. And, I'm sick of it. I'm literally sick of it. I can't take it anymore. And so I'm going to take a spiritual turn, and I'm going to not become a Bible thumper. You'll never see me Bible thumping. But I am devoting my life to Jesus Christ, and I am going to devote my life to Proverbs and the Psalms and the Song of Solomon, and I'm going to remain kind of clear of the Old Testament because, you know, this God thing, you know, there was people say, well, God said this and God did this and God killed a million people here and a million people. I'm not too sure about all that stuff. And I told Jesus, I said, if this was really going on, it's kind of hard for me to get all wrapped up in this thing, you know, and just throw all my cards on the table. You know what I mean? Just invest everything I got in this deal. And I said, I'm probably not going to do that. But I am going to, I am a believer. I am a believer. And I do believe that Jesus can give me peace because he already has. And I need peace. I need peace. Everyone needs peace. Everyone needs clarity. Everyone needs a center. Everyone needs synchronicity and balance. And you're not going to find it out there running around from pillar to post to post to pillar to pillar to post to post to pillar to pillar to post. You can do that for the rest of your life. And this is why some of the great men of this world said, do not follow vain philosophies, because philosophy will just take you on. You've seen those dogs chasing their tail around and around and around and around and around and around. Philosophy is great to study. Okay, I love it. I love it. It's wonderful. It's got some beautiful, beautiful things in it. But just like the Old Testament, it can get a little crazy. You know, someone told me here on a show a while back, they said, who would want to worship a God that had all of these innocent people killed just because he was in a bad mood one day? And I said, I agree. I wouldn't want to worship a God like that. And I don't want to worship a God like that. And I'm sorry, God, if you're mad at me, I'm sorry. But, here's the deal. I don't understand any of this stuff. Okay. Neither do you. None of you understand anything. And I don't understand anything. Nobody knows what's going on. Okay. But at some point in time in your life, you got to make a choice. At some point in time, you have to make a choice which path you're going to stay on. And I'm 66 and I'm on the edge of the, death kind of thing, DEATH. And I really don't want to take any chances. I really don't want to take any chances. Now, some of you have PM'd me that heard me talking this morning in some of my forums and said, well, now are you doing this just to be safe? Are you doing this just to kind of be safe? I said, well, yeah. Doesn't everybody? Yeah, I'd like to be safe. I would like to know that I'm, um, I'd like to know that I'm saved. I would like to know that Jesus is my Savior, and I would like to really take that route. And when I commit myself to something, I'm going to stick with it. And I'm going to start ministering in my own way to people. I'm going to start ministering as Chad and I always minister. I'm not going to change my forte. I'm not going to change my approach, but I am going to change a lot of things about myself. And I'm going to stop all of this geopolitical analysis paralysis madness that's going on. I can't stop it. I can't change it. I can't sway it. So the only thing I can do is rely on my own skills to take care of my family and my friends. That's all I can do, and my community. I can't save the world. I thought I could when I was 40 years old, but I'm not 40 years old anymore. And I just can't do it. I'm going to have to rely on a power much greater than myself to do that. And that power that I'm relying on has its own agenda. And I have no way of knowing what that agenda is. And I have no comprehension. And that's way above my pay grade, as Chad said last night about something about a pay grade. That's way above my pay grade. I'm not even going to begin to think, well, what's this reason and what's that reason? It's not for me to know. It's just not for me to know. I drive a car, but I can't build a car. Chad can't build a car from scratch, and I'm talking about every atom, every molecule, every element. Okay. I can't either, but I can drive the car and I can be confident that the car is going to get me from A to Z. Okay. So I'm going to let Jesus drive for a while because evidently Jesus built the damn car. I didn't build the damn thing. I didn't build any of this. I didn't put any of this together. I just happen to be an element within this particular matrix. That's all I am. And a very small element at that. And as smart as I think I am sometimes, I'm probably mentally retarded at the mentally retarded level when it comes to really understanding what's going on around here. And I'll be the first to admit that. And as I always say, anything that Chad and I could talk about here on this show is antiquated, out of style, out of whack already. I mean, it's not. It's probably just propaganda. It's probably just misinformation, disinformation that just we've regurgitated, and that's not a good thing. I think the only thing that can be relied upon is the scripture. And, John of Patmos, and if you read Jeremiah, Jeremiah pretty much lays out every single thing that's happening right now. Every single thing that's happening right now. I can show you in the Bible that the Bible has been 100% correct in all of its predictions and prophecies. And that's good enough for me. My heart feels really good right now. I've lifted a giant weight off of my heart by putting all of my cares on Jesus Christ that died for my sins and rose again on that third day and ascended to the right hand of God. Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? I am not the judge. I am not the juror. I am just a man. I am just a man. That's all I am. And this is for me. This is not for Chad. This is not for Rhonda. This is not for Mary. This is not for anybody. This is for me. This is what I need because, the doctor told me I may die. The doctor told me that I could drop dead any minute because of my heart. It's a lot worse than even Chad knows because I didn't tell him yet. I was going to take him to the lake on a special little moment. But, I don't want to take I don't want to take any chances. And my heart has been really heavy lately. I mean, my heart has been really, really, really heavy lately. And I need peace. I need peace. I need harmony. I need peace in my life. You guys, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to start about my life, blah, 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 where old Kyler's been, blah, 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 what old Kyler's done. I'm not going to start that. But I just want to tell you, it's been one hell of a roller coaster ride, one that I would not wish on any of you. And I mean, none of you. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, what I've been through in this life. And if God gives me peace and if Jesus gives me peace, then that's what I want in my life. And if it makes me a better person, if it makes me a more compassionate, caring, loving, forgiving person, then that's what I want in my life. I want to take my last breath like my mother did, knowing, you know, that I gave it my all. I gave it my all. And I want to address this publicly because the Bible says that you should address this publicly, make a public proclamation. And I have, just like the Muslims, just like the Buddhists, just like the Hindus, just like the natives, I've made my choice to follow Jesus. But I have not made my choice to get into arguments and debates with religious people. And I know Chad will be happy and proud of me for that. I am not here, and I'm not going to start getting into religious debates with people. I'm just going to be a simple man. You heard that song. Me and Chad heard it the other night. We were somewhere. Simple man. I'm just going to be a simple man. That's all. Just a simple man, a simpleton. You can call me the simpleton. You can call me the jester. You can call me whatever you want to. But I've made my decision, and I just wanted to tell you all that tonight. And Chad, I'm glad you got to be here when I said that.
I appreciate that. I really do. And I know it goes against everything that you've talked about too, on that extent. But hey, you got to do it's got to put you at peace. You already know my opinion on it. I won't force it on you, and I know you won't force your opinion on me.
Oh
And
no,
that's the great thing that I can say me and him have when it comes to this kind of debate, because we know that this can tear apart anybody. Just something this small, but as long as you don't force, what you believe in on somebody else, it's okay. Like I'm not gonna look at Kyler any different. Kyler ain't gonna look at me any different. We still have the same goals and aspirations still to this
no. If I
day.
know Chad, we'll joke about this more than anything else, and Jesus won't mind if we joke about it because Jesus knows we're gonna. Chad's gonna rib me, and I'm gonna rib him, and we're gonna come up with little jokes, and that's fun. That's the way Chad and I are.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah,
gonna.
yeah, yeah. As long as you don't turn into an OT, we're good. If you don't pull it into an OT, an odious or whatever he calls himself, we'll be all right.
No, no, no.
Oh man, that dude is nuttier than squirrel shit.
I know, I know, I know, I know. Where did he come from anyway?
Canada.
Canada. Yeah, OT. Well, you know, I like I said, something else is I'm not going to go around. Chad knows this. I'm not going to go around with a big sign on my back or anything. You know, this is private. I'm letting it out here with my fans because I want y'all to know what's going on. But I'm not one of these guys that's going to run downtown and start being a street preacher or anything. You know what I mean? I'm a very calm, cool, kind of collected guy. It's just my secret thing here, my heart. You know, it's in my heart. And it's real. I took it in as real. It makes me feel like $1 million, man. It just took a weight off of me. It just took a just giant weight of confusion and just total insanity off of me, and just went, phew, it's gone. It was like reaching nirvana. You know, it was like reaching nirvana. And some people say, well, you're just making excuses and you're just using Christ as an excuse and this and that. And people are always going to have 1,000 things negative to say about it. See, just like if Chad came up with something, somebody have 1,000 things to say. They already have with Chad and they already have with me. There's nothing Chad and I could do that's right to everybody. There's going to be 1,000 people out there that are going to come up with 1,000 reasons why we shouldn't do something. So I'm ready for that. That's no big deal to me.
Don't worry, bro. Even though your belief is yours and mine's mine. I'll help you out through those knucklehead fights that try to do that to you because I probably know the book better than these other people that are quoting the books. So
And as
yeah, don't
I
worry.
And as I said when you were gone, I was reading Jeremiah again, and Jeremiah had predicted every single thing down to the T that's happening today. Every single thing. And the Bible has been 100% right in prophecy. Not one mistake up to this point. Not one. Even with the changes, even with the translations, even with the mistranslations, everything is perfect. And you can even talk to some of the greatest scholars in the world and line them up, and they'll tell you everything 100% perfect. That makes me feel a little better. Like you buying a car, you want to see the warranty. You want to see who's driven this car before. So I wanted to know who's driving the car. And yes, I know the Bible has been misrepresented. And yes, I know the Bible has been political. And yes, I know the Bible has been bureaucratic. And yes, I know the Bible has been controversial. But that's not what I'm about. I was just led to the light of God and not to the confusion of God or the darkness of God or the The argumentative side of God. I was led to the light, if you want to call it the light. If you want to call it spirituality, you can call it spirituality. I don't believe in religion. Jesus hated religion, by the way, and he states that in the Bible. He said, I hate religion. I hate religious people. Chad brought this up. Chad's very smart. He brought this up yesterday. He hated the scribes and Pharisees because they were running around with their robes on. Oh, and they were so legalese and they were so. That's all just bullshit to me. You know, here's Jesus running around eating with prostitutes and the most degrading people in the world, homeless and hungry and scabs all over their body with leprosy. And here he is dealing with all of these indigents. That's my kind of guy. I don't want to run around with a bunch of scribes and Pharisees, which is what I see at most of these churches around here that Chad and I are near. I see a bunch of scribes and Pharisees. Chad and I see them coming out in their suits. Oh, they look so. Oh, look at me, I'm holy. you know, and you wonder. I don't want to run around with these people. I'd rather run around with a drug addict or an alcoholic, you know, or a prostitute. I mean, I know that sounds crazy to some of you, but some of you it doesn't.
Listen,
You know.
people, what we work for, the crisis center and the crisis unit we work for, we are dealing with the people that are the undesirables, the sinners, the dirt of the dirt, as they would be called in society. And you know what? Literally, they are some of the most compassionate people you ever wanted to meet. When you actually give time to one of these people, and that's all they're really asking for. Yeah, they might ask for some money to get something to eat, but the ones, they really just want your time. They want to be heard. They want somebody to talk to because nobody wants to talk to them. You know what I mean? They're undesirable. Um, but to be around people like that, those people are some of the most humblest people you ever wanted to meet. Some of these most selfless people you ever wanted to meet, and they're just in a shit situation. And this is, as the book was talking about, this is who Jesus went and sat with, because these people would protect you and help you out every step of the way. I've literally watched homeless people go, like a homeless person go and get a big bag of food, and literally through that bag hand out all that food to everybody else as he gets one small thing out of that bag. He got the smallest portion out of all that, but he handed out to all the other homeless that were out there.
Oh,
You
I've
know, they're
seen
they're,
that.
they're completely selfless.
I've seen that so much here, and I'm not going to tell anybody where we are, and you shouldn't either, ever. But I've
Yeah.
seen that here in the Northwest so much.
Yes.
Homeless people, I've seen them give the last shirt in the winter off their back. I've seen it myself personally. I've seen them give their clothes away to a person who was wet and sick. I've seen them give their food away, like Chad said, and the camaraderie with some of these people. So not all of them, okay, not all of them. Chad and I aren't stupid. We know there's a lot of crazy people out there, okay. But I'm talking about the majority of these folks are good people. They've just got into a bad situation. I've been in that situation. They've gotten on drugs or something. Took a wrong turn, got in trouble with the law, whatever. Okay. I'm not the judge. Okay. I'm not going to judge. Okay. I'm not a judge. Chad knows Chad may know a lot of things about me, but he knows I'm not a judge. I'm not going to judge people. Now I may call people out on certain things. Okay. I may call them out directly on certain things, but to me, a judge is a gossip. People that gossip. I can't stand gossip, and I can't stand slander, and I can't stand libel.
A
You know what
judge is an
libel is?
executioner.
Yeah,
That's the way I look at them. They're
yeah,
executioners.
yeah. And you know, my Zen master could judge me, but that's a friend. That's someone you trust. That's someone you love. That's someone you know their heart. You know their heart. Like a friend can judge a friend. A friend can tell a friend, "Hey, you need to look at this, man. Look what's going on. What's going on here? What's going on there? What the fuck's going on?" But some stranger couldn't come up to you to, you know, say that. You wouldn't feel the same. There's not the connection. There's not the connection. When you have that deep connection with somebody, you see things, you know things, you feel things. If there's something wrong in that person, you're going to ask them, "What's wrong? What's wrong with you?" And they go, "Well, you did something to me, and I don't like it." Chad and I have had that discussion. You said something to me and I don't like it. Well, that's fine. We're friends. We can do that to each other. But for people just going around pointing the finger at everybody in the neighborhood they don't even know and they've never even met, I see people doing that all the time. That's crazy. That's insane. That's insane.
I agree with you on that. We see it on every level. We see it on the religious level. We see it on the ethnic background of people. We see it on whatever territory they live in, whoever the president is, what their political party is, what color their hair is, what color their eyes are, what gender they are, what name they call themselves. It's just ridiculous, people.
You know, there are people out there that you really just want to talk about because they're crazy. I mean, they're crazy. But on in general though, I don't judge people like in general. I'm not going to judge a politician or anybody or a governor or a mayor or whatever, unless I just hear them publicly coming out and saying something just totally stupid, And then
Joe
I'm going to say,
Biden.
then I'm going to judge, then I'm going to judge, you know.
Yeah. Like I think the American people, instead of donating all this money to Ukraine to fight the war, I think we need to get some money up for Joe Biden to get a walker. Because then his ass ain't gonna fall down no more. See, we can judge Joe Biden
Poor
because he's
guy.
showing himself.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. They need to. They need to put Joe back home and just let him rest.
they need to quit giving that shot of B12 in his ass every fucking morning to run the country.
Kim, are you talking about me when you say I love that about you,
The
Kyla? Oh
judging,
yeah,
how you don't
Kyla, me.
judge.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I've never been a big fan of judging people, and labeling, especially labeling people. I might slip a little judgment in sometimes by accident, but labeling to me is really bad. And I'm always willing to give people the extra mile, the extra mile, the extra mile, the extra mile, because I was given the extra mile. And if I wasn't given the extra mile, I wouldn't be here with you today. Um, I was given the extra mile and the extra forgiveness and the extra boost up, or I wouldn't be here with you today. And so I'm passing it on to people. I'm passing it on. I want to give them the extra love, and I want to give them the extra chance, and I want to give them the extra opportunity to take some of the same footsteps that I did and go down some of the same paths that I did. And it's only me that can do that if I'm directly dealing with that person or persons. You know what I mean? And I don't want anyone to ever be around me and feel scared or nervous or something like, I'm going to hurt them or I'm going to judge them or I'm going to tell on them or I'm going to tattletale or I'm going to write something nasty about them to somebody else or whatever the case may be. Make a gossipy phone call or whatever. I don't do that. I do not do that. If somebody came to me and said, if somebody came to me and said, Chad's this and Chad's that and Chad, I'd say, fuck you, go to Chad. Go tell Chad. Let's get Chad on the phone right now. I'll call Chad up right now.
Oh yeah, that's how it should be done.
I wouldn't say, "Oh, really? Chad did what? Oh, I'll tell you something else he did to me. Oh, yeah." And there it goes. There it goes. All the vomit starts coming out. Yeah. You know, and it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And before you know it, he's a child molester. He's a bank robber. He's a rapist. He's a killer. He's everything. He's a liar. He's a hypocrite. you know, it just snowballs. Snowballs and everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I can't. It's making me sick at my stomach thinking about it because that's what people do. I hear them doing it at church. People at church are the worst.
That they are. They love that gossip in church.
They love to talk about everybody else in the congregation. Did you hear about Miss Jones? Did you hear about her going to the bar the other night?
Did you hear about Steve and Jenny hooking up last night?
It's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. And like I said, a little fun gossip is okay, but not that hardcore stuff that really shoots people, really hurts people. That's a bad thing. But back to the I was really surprised at Africa. They came out at the summit and they said, "We are sick of the West trying to control us and tell us what to do. We will not listen anymore. We are finished with the West. We are finished." Now, let me tell you something. The West is going to go in there and try to cause some trouble. You watch. You watch. Okay? You watch. The blacks are fed up. And let me tell you what that's going to do. The blacks here are going to get fed up. They're going to go with Africa and they're going to say, you know what? We're sick and tired of the West telling us what to do. You watch. You mark my word. You mark my word. This is a big deal when Africa turns against the West. Okay.
It's the richest nation of resources besides Russia.
Now China has been funding Africa forever. Okay. Russia has been helping Africa forever. Okay. And now they finally just went ahead and just made the marriage. Okay. They've just made the marriage legal. Okay. And they're going with the new Brexit deal. Okay. They're going with the New Nations. I call it the New Nations Treaty. They're going with the New Nations Treaty, which uh, does not include the United States. Okay. Does not include the United States. So the United States right now, the government over there, the Pentagon's really worried now that Ukraine is losing. Now they're lying to the American public and telling them that Ukraine is winning. That's not true. Russia has not used 1/10 of 1% of his power yet. Not 1/10 of 1% of what he can unleash. This
Well,
ought
it's
to
only been a
scare the living
militia.
hell out of you. This ought to
Oh,
scare the living.
yeah.
You said that the other night. You said it already. But this should scare the living hell out of all of you. This man has waited and waited and waited and waited and been patient, okay? But let me tell you something. When he gets fed up and he pulls that trigger, oh boy, you better look out. Better look out. Because Raytheon and Northrop Grumman and all these weapons manufacturers out here bragging about how much money they're making, how many trillions of dollars they're making in the paper, in the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, and the New York Times last week. Oh, we're getting rich. Oh, we got to have more weapons sent to Ukraine. Oh, we were 25% profit, 35% profit, 45% profit. Oh, our stocks are going up. Boy, we're getting rich. You know what they're talking about? Killing people. We're murdering people. Let's get murder some more people so we can build some more weapons. Kill some more children. Kill some more senior citizens. Blow up some more hospitals and schools so we can make some more M1 tanks. So we can make some more nuclear warheads. So we can make some more chemical and biological weapons. Y'all go ahead and just keep on fighting because we're making money. And you taxpayers are covering the bill. Every one of you are paying for the bill. Every single one of you paying for the bill for
Like I've
Ukraine.
said, and I've been saying for years, since World War II, every single bullet that has killed a United States military member has been paid and bought for by the United States military.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, I hope people can let that sink in to understand what I just said and the gravity of that every single person that's died in the United States wartime era has died because of a bullet that our government has extorted out of us to kill us.
Well, and look at Afghanistan. Look what we did. We destroyed Saddam Hussein. We went in and destroyed Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Vietnam. All of these countries, the West was responsible for starting the war. The West was responsible for all of the deaths. The West was responsible for all of the destruction. You're living in a country of thieves and extortionists and murderers. Okay? You're living in a country of rapists, thieves, extortionists, and murderers. The ultimate destroyers. Okay? You're living in the most corrupt country in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? The most corrupt country in the world. And now they're after our children. Now they're sexualizing our children. Now they're saying we should have sex with our children openly, in public, in the paper, on the internet. The World Health Organization, the United Nations, the Trilateral Commission, the World Bank, all of the NGOs, Davos, World Economic Forum, they're all saying that it's okay now. Open season on the young ones. Open season. Chad?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's really, I mean, it's not hard. I mean, doing all the rabbit hole research and the documents, if anybody would actually just look and see that every single thing that's happened in the world, the United States is behind it, either financially or physically with the military. And we've moved into that position on purpose. Like the whole United States dollar, people, the only reason why we have United States dollars, I mean, it doesn't even really exist, is because of petrol. They made it to where the only way that you could pay for petrol is with the United States currency. So all these countries would have to transfer their money to United States currency just to buy oil. That's all our currency is, people. They've literally extorted every single country on earth. We are the most hated people of this world. You
Yes.
like literally, if I would leave country, like the country, I wouldn't even say I was American. I'd say I was Canadian. A
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
um
Yeah. So would
that
I.
I would, or I'd say I'm from Australia.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would throw something like that, but I would not say I was from the United States because that's a death sentence. Everywhere overseas knows what we're about, but our government lies to us and acts like we're these peace giving people. But yet every country that didn't get along with us, or not along, every country that didn't step in line with us, we blew the country up and killed millions of people. And we do it over and over and over again. People,
Well,
listen,
we
they're sick
killed
of
the
us.
we killed the leader in Nairobi. We killed the leader in Kenya. Look what we've done to Africa. Look at all the people we've murdered. And should we expect them to bow down to us? Should we expect them to respect us? Should we ask them to respect us? No.
People,
No.
would you respect China coming in your homeland and just taking it over and destroying your way of life, and then telling you, oh, we're going to rebuild it, but you got to take our government. If you
Ah,
don't
well,
take our government, we're going to continue to extort you and
right,
slaughter your children. This is
right.
what's going on. These countries are forming up against us because they can't take it no more. They're tired of seeing the death from the United
You know
States.
what? At least the countries like China and others that have infiltrated our country and stolen secrets and things like that have not come in and raped our children, except for those coming out of the southern border. Some of them, you got to give them credit. You got to give them credit. What Chad's saying is we go into countries and we rape and pillage and murder and poison people openly and deliberately take over their culture, religion, and everything else property, agriculture, water, resources, everything.
And we label it under democracy.
hmm And national security. Oh, it was a national security thing. It was a national security risk. Oh, it was a national security risk. We have to protect the American people and our democracy. It's always a lie.
Listen, people,
Everything.
the reason why we went to like Afghanistan, the real reason is because Afghanistan was threatening big pharma because all the poppy fields out there. So the United States literally was protecting these poppy fields. They stole it from the people in the country. They were protecting these fields, and they were selling the product to big pharma. This is what the United States was doing in Afghanistan.
Yeah, and the only reason we went to Iraq is because Saddam Hussein refused to set up a central bank.
Yeah, because he said no. He said that he's going to leave it on a gold standard. He wanted gold to be the value. He was bringing gold back, just like Gaddafi. Gaddafi was doing the same thing. Gaddafi wanted a gold back system. He wanted to break away from everybody.
You know, you know, if people, one great economist, I can't remember his name, said that if the American people ever woke up one morning and understood the intricacies and complexities of the banking system and how corrupt that it is, there would be a revolution by that evening.
Those are some powerful words that I don't think people even realize what it means.
No, it's think about it. A top economist, top gun. If the American people ever went Bing and ever understood how the banking system really works and how you've been getting fucked since you were born, there would be a revolution. My question is, now that they're fucking your children, literally, why aren't you waking up? And why aren't we having a revolution? That's my question to Chad.
Well, we can blame it on the Stockholm syndrome.
How many people here listening tonight are going to the school board tomorrow? Going to the principal tomorrow, going to the education department, going to write some letters and going to put out some emails. How many of y'all out there, Kim, uh, all of you, anybody listening in all the other channels anywhere in the world, what are you going to do about them coming in and saying it's okay to rape our children now, it's okay to molest our children now, that's the natural thing, that's what the children want, and that's normal, and that's going to make everybody healthy and happy? What are you going to do about that? What are y'all going to do about that? I don't know. I'd like to know really what we're going to do. I know what I'm
I
doing.
honestly,
I'm
I
telling y'all what's going on.
yeah, same here.
And Chad and I are going to show you the documents. We're going to show you all the documents in the next 2 weeks.
And what I honestly think people need to do, honestly, is instead of sending their kids to school, everybody just keep your kids home from school. That would send more of a message than you heading to the school board. That would send more of a message than anything. You just don't send your kid to school because listen, schools are like prisons. And let me explain how prisons are run. Prison, they do what's called a head count. Every time they do a head count, that's $50 a person that jail is making per individual that they count. So if they count, 1,000 people that, and that count, that's $50,000 that jail's going to receive that day, in money. So they do 2 counts a day. So that jail is making $100,000 a day. Now, this is what they're doing in school. This is why they always do attendance in school. It's not one attendance, every class. Every class, they get a pay. They get a certain amount of money per child that's there. If we would literally go 2 weeks without sending our kids there, it would completely crash the education system. Done.
Mm-hmm.
Done. Like the biggest flop you ever wanted to meet would happen within 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it
True.
would take, people. You don't even have to get violent. You don't have to get angry. You don't have to show up in person. If you don't want to show up in person, just keep your kids home. It's that simple. Keep your kids home for 2 weeks. Watch how quick the school system changes.
The problem is they've brainwashed everyone to take their kids to school to get rid of them, get them out of their hair, and give them a reprieve and a little bit of a vacation to get away from the brats that they've spoiled to death. And so they use the school as a babysitting kind of machine, you know, as kind of a reprieve for the parents, just to have a break for 8 hours, a day. And I guess the parents are willing to go ahead and let the children be sexualized if that's the sacrifice they have to make.
As long as it don't affect their paychecks from their slave wage. That's
Yeah,
pretty much how it is.
yeah, it's true. It's true. My feeling on this whole situation is children should be sexualized as they are sexualized, as they grow into the sexualization, as they grow into the normality of sexualization in a fairly normal cultural way. But what we're talking about here is forced, being forced upon the parents and being forced upon the children. And
Listen, let's
so
just put it in
that's
Raymond's
not a
terms.
good
They
thing.
are raping the little fuck out of your children.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. We'll put it in the lamest term possible. They are
Men, men,
raping the fuck out of your
mentally,
children.
mentally and physically and spiritually and philosophically and psychologically. They've got across the board. So, it's a terrible, terrible thing. They're doing it in
It's a kill-all
totality.
situation. That's exactly what it is. It's a kill-all situation. And when it happens to these kids, they're as they get older, then they have kids, and it happens to their kids. They're going to say, "Well, it happened to me. It's just normal." And then it
Oh,
gets
yeah.
normalized, and then everybody's like, "Well, how did this happen?" Well, people, we're here to tell you, and we've been here to tell you, it's trying to be normalized. It's right on the border of being fucking normal.
Oh, yeah, it's here. Yeah, it's here. Yeah, it's here. Like I said, 10,000 times more than Chad and I are talking about right now. 10,000 times harder and rougher and meaner and dirtier. And yeah, it's real. It's here. It's already here. And they've already said the United Nations has already come out publicly, along with the World Health Organization, and said your kids are not yours anymore. They're ours. They've already come out publicly and said your kids are not yours. They're ours. They belong to us. So you've lost your children. You've fucked around and fucked around and fucked around and lost your children.
I hope you all love social media that much that you gave your children away because you fell for all the distractions on social media. Your TikTok shaking your ass, your Only's fan selling yourself, living these fake, false fabrications of life on a metaverse that is nothing like your real life. I hope that little bit of entertainment that you created in your life was well worth your kids' because that's what's happened.
Hey, Kim. Good point, Kim. They are putting people in jail right and left here for going against the narrative that they're pushing. They're saying that you're abusive now if you are trying to dissuade your child out and away from the current narrative. They're putting parents in jail. They're fining parents. They're threatening parents. They're taking children away from parents, saying that you're abusing your child by dissuading them from the current government narrative. Now, that is really, really crazy. I mean, that is really, really, really crazy. you know, when it's gone that far, okay, when it's gone that far. And they're also starting to make homeschooling illegal here in the United States. Okay, so that's going to be the next thing is kids are going to be conscripted and mandated to public education. They're saying that parents are not capable and not able to teach their own children. That should be the responsibility of the state. The state is the only one that can indoctrinate the children properly, and they use the word indoctrinate.
It's quite disturbing, man. Like I find it disturbing. It's it shows you how asleep the woke culture really is, and I don't even know why they call them the woke culture because
All right,
it's
that
literally
word.
like
I'm lost on that word. I'm sorry. I told you the other night. I'm lost.
I can see. I'm a seer. This is what the woke people look like.
Yeah, I
Like
know. Yeah. I mean, woke is a leftist word. I think a leftist liberal word, right? Yeah, it is.
yeah,
It's a leftist liberal Marxist term.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a
And this is what
leftist
I'm
liberal
saying.
Marxist term. Yeah.
People don't even understand what that word means or where it comes from or how it derives or actually how it's supposed to be used. And they use it as virtual signaling. And this is what it is now. The woke word is a virtual signal for like, the Batman beacon. Oh, we're here, we're good. Da, da, da. That's all I gotta say to that woke culture because you got your head so far up to your ass. I don't think you're ever gonna hear the sound of your head popping out your ass. I don't ever
Now,
think they're gonna hear it.
Chad and I pissed a bunch of people off here a while back because Chad and I described awake as not being awake. I mean, Chad and I both have agreed. We know a lot of people, Chad and I, that tell him and I that they're awake, and they're just as dumb as a box of rocks. And so they're
Oh
the woke and the awake kind of blend together.
yeah.
You know,
Well, here's the thing. Woke is the leftist, and awake is the
Is the right
conservative.
or the right?
Yeah,
You're conservative.
and
There you
nobody
go.
gets it. Nobody
Yeah,
sees it.
yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah.
dink, same thing, different word.
And then the awake is also the star seeds and the spiritualist and the guru, new age type of people who sing kumbaya and want to run around beating drums and stuff. That's awake. Awake. I'm awake. I'm awake. So I'm beating a drum and I'm singing kumbaya and I'm planting an organic garden. So I'm awake. I don't know. Maybe that's awake. I don't know. I'm
I like to call myself aware because I'm
aware.
aware of my surroundings.
Aware is a good word. Aware is a much
You
better
know,
word. Aware is a
that's
much
what I
better
call
word.
myself. I'm not awake. I'm not woke.
Highly,
I'm aware.
highly conscious of consciousness too. And you're thinking about thinking and you're aware of your awareness. So yeah, it's a good double conundrum. It's good.
Yep.
Um, well, we really do appreciate you all very much, all of you in chat and all of our other platforms that were turned off. By the way, Chad, I didn't tell you that they tried to flip on us and tried to sneak around there and turn everything off, and Marion had to go turn everything back on. Isn't that a bummer?
Hell yeah, it is. We all just seen what I went through this week. You seen it. Now it's coming to you. Now they're coming at you with this stuff.
Yeah,
Listen, people, I've literally seen cell phones. I'm not naming names whose cell phones, but I've literally watched people's cell phones literally shut off and turn back on, and they're fully charged. Fully charged. They just shut off, reset, bring back. The question is, are they installing new software into your phone, or are they deleting something out your phone that you absolutely need?
yeah, and they're yeah, these phones are just very, very dangerous. I was going to say something. Um, all of these electronics are very, very dangerous now. I mean, it's just there's no electronic device that is not taking advantage of you in some way, shape, form, or fashion. It's taking advantage of you, and you think that you're using it. People say, "I'm going to use the phone. Can I use your phone?" No, your phone is going to use you. My phone's going to use you if I hand it to you.
Yeah,
You know, you're not using the phone. The phone is using you. You
yeah.
know, you're not
Can
turning
I?
on the TV. The TV is turning you on,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're not programming the computer. The computer is going to come back and program you. No matter how much you program the computer, no matter what kind of coder you think you are, that code is going to come back and bite you in the ass. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Oh yeah, everything right now, people, and the easiest way to explain it is a true double-edged sword, and you're along for the ride no matter what you do. If you do something good, you're going to have an opposite effect, no matter what. No
Yeah,
matter what, no matter how good you think you are,
yeah,
you ain't beating AI.
no. Oh no, not at six quadrillion perimeters. No, not
That's
at
what I'm
six
saying. You can't beat it.
quadrillion perimeters. No, I mean, the numbers are staggering. I forgot how many zeros we're talking about. It was 27 zeros, and then it was 36, and then it was I lost my mind at that point and turned to Jesus.
You have a better chance of Jesus Christ coming back for the second time than understanding how advanced AI really is.
Exactly. Oh yes, of course, of course, of course. And I was telling Marion's mother today, I wish Jesus would hurry up and get here. I'm getting tired of them kicking this can down the road. My God, where is it going to go? I passed by the graveyard today out there, the one on the way to the place where you and I go over there at Mars, and another place over there on the highway coming back past Chevron there. And I looked at that graveyard and I just glanced out there at all those old tombstones and I thought, damn, those people don't have a thing to worry about. And look at me driving down this crazy road with all these crazy people. And just for a moment there, I felt so peaceful thinking about being out there in that graveyard. And, I'm not the only one thinking that way. I'm talking to people every day that are starting to say, I don't want to live here anymore.
I don't prefer to be here.
I don't either. I mean, I just, the peace of just ceasing to exist is so what do you call it? Alluring. It's alluring, you know. And I just not gonna kill myself because I'm not the type to do that. I'm too chicken shit, to tell you the truth. And besides that, I was always taught that it was, a bad thing to do, And it
Yeah.
doesn't really seem like a good thing to do to take your own life. It just doesn't seem like a good thing to do. But ladies and gentlemen, Chad's busy, I'm busy, and we're both kind of crazy right now. We're just going to take a chill pill, and we love y'all so much, and we just thank you for being here with us. We really do, and I just hope that God can somehow bless this nation with whatever plan that he or she has or it has. I hope that my walk with Jesus will help me to calm down some and live a little longer and a little more at peace and bug Chad to death and just stay here to bug Chad to death. But I love you, Chad, and you know
Love you too,
I
bro.
I appreciate all of you, and we'll see y'all tomorrow night. We'll be here. See y'all. Take care. Kim, we love you, and everybody else in chat, um, we love you too very much. Y'all take care.